What's going on? Today I want to talk about the responsibility of artists in hip-hop. And what I mean by that question is, how far are we to hold hip-hop artists accountable for the things they say or the things that they promote? I bring this question up because someone on my last video I made about Biggie said Biggie was directly responsible for the current trends and exploitations of hip-hop today. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it does probe an interesting question as how much responsibility do we put on the artists themselves? And I'd like to say personally, I think it's a little bit a combination of, yes, they are responsible for the things they say, but you know, this is entertainment. But it's also a culture. It's also a lifestyle. So it's very complicated in a sense because when you have a real MC getting on the mic to tell their story, and their story happens to involve violence, their story happens to involve drugs, I don't think that's exploiting anything. I don't think that's promoting a negative lifestyle like I think that Biggie did it. I think that, you know, they're just getting on the microphone and telling you how they feel, where they come from, their background, their trials, their tribulations. But like today, when most of these people get behind a mic, and they just do it because it's the thing to do today. It makes money. It's going to bring in dividends, revenue, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I believe that's wrong. Joe Budden said, what did he say? My last visit I made to jail, I didn't enjoy it, so why would I sit behind a mic and exploit it? Genius fucking shit, Joey. But a lot of these artists today, they don't practice that. A lot of artists today would rather just exploit it. A lot of artists today would rather just, I got money and guns and blah blah blah, but we also just can't blame it on the artists because we know most of these corporate Viacom people who give rap artists deals today aren't going to put out people like Blue, put out people like, you know, artists like Giant Panda aren't going to be pushed forward because they don't fit the trendy themes of the, what do you call it, the new millennium? I don't know what you call the 2000s and up so far, but yeah, if it doesn't fit with the trend of today, they're not gonna put it out. So how much responsibility do actual artists have themselves to inspire? And I like to say that hip-hop has inspired me to do a lot of good things. I haven't done any great things yet. Hopefully I will in the future, but hip-hop has inspired me to do some good things. However, I also can see that when people take, you know, let's say how people took Ready to Die, and people studied Ready to Die, and they were like ready to get all gangster and shit, and they was rushing up on motherfuckers thinking that they had the catalog. Biggie gave out the 10 crack commandments. Folk thought they was like fucking Nino from New Jack City and shit. So hip hop can promote negativity, yes it can. But how far are we supposed to push the artists for doing it? Because if an artist is doing it just out of artistic expression and people take it, you know, in another way, can we really blame that artist for doing that? Because I like to think that hip-hop is a medium between inspiration and entertainment. Because when you ever push the extreme of either one, it's solely not hip-hop. So hip-hop has to meet at that medium. Hip-hop has to be something that can inspire, yet hip-hop has to be something that entertains you and keep you interested and keep you coming back, keep you dancing, keep you smiling, keep you laughing. However, hip-hop can tell sad stories. Hip-hop can tell stories about, you know, I'll go back to Joe Budden. Joe Budden said in an interview, you know, my listeners are fucked up. I mean, people should be able to sympathize with that artist. Me personally, when I'm in certain moods, I listen to certain artists in hip-hop, you know. So I do think there's responsibility artists have to play. However, I think it's our responsibility as listeners to be the ones to interpret the message. You know, we can't put all that weight on them and say, oh, you made blah 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 think this way. No, there has to be some personal responsibility on the listener themselves. They have to know how far they can take it. They have to understand where artists are coming from. They should also understand if artists are exploiting shit, if artists are just whack. Like, if Young Jeezy comes out and says something, I'm not taking Jeezy seriously. You know what I'm saying? So, who else am I not taking seriously? I'm not taking Lil Wayne seriously. I'm not taking most of these trendy Soulja Boy. I'm not taking all these trendy motherfuckers seriously. It's just junk they put out to make money. They're not gonna deny it. I make music to sell records. That's what Jeezy would tell you. You know, I make music to sell records. Did I say I make money to sell records? Anyways, fuck it. I'm not cutting it out. But yeah, so I do believe there's responsibility on the artist. However, I think there is more responsibility on ourselves, which we never give ourselves responsibility for being able to dissect things because we don't think. People of today's age don't think for themselves. We're looking for somebody else to tell us what to do, to tell us how to do things, tell us what to say, how to act, how to feel in certain ways. When we're not all built the same way, so we have to take things artists say in hip hop and in any other sect of enlightenment. I don't know. But you have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to process information for yourself. Otherwise, what's the point of even listening to hip hop if you're not going to think for yourself? You're defeating the whole fucking purpose. So, I'm sorry this video was a little scattered because I don't really have that much time. I'm out doing stuff, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, think about that for a while. What responsibility do artists have to play? And what responsibility do we really have to play in, being hip-hop consumers, being the listeners, being the fans? Because we do have a role, which we don't want to give ourselves credit for. We don't want to take responsibility for ourselves. We have a role as fans to call out bullshit, to call out whackness, to tell somebody when they're doing good, to tell somebody when they're doing bad. We're the fans, we're the critics, we're the lifeblood if you're a fan of hip-hop. You are the fucking lifeblood. So, think, peace, much love to you.